items, and I just have made a complete mess, not only in my craft room, but all over my house. Hey, Bee, what you doing? Are you being a good girl? Are you going to help me clean up my mess? Mama made a huge mess in here, and I'm so sad because I have nowhere to craft. So this is my mess. I'm trying to organize my Christmas stuff, and I pulled stuff out of my closet, and I did not realize how much Christmas paper and crafting items I had until I got it all out. And I just made a huge mess in my craft room. But what's funny is I don't know if y'all do this after the first of the year, but I kind of get it in my head that I'm going to do things I've been putting off. And I have been taking stuff out of closets all over my house and reorganizing, and my house is a mess. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be sorting through and organizing these bins. I keep my Christmas scrapbooking and crafting items in these Iris 12 by 12 scrapbooking cases. And I think I have about 8 of the Iris bins that I have my scrapbooking and paper crafting products stored in. And the goal of today is to try to go through these bins, one, figure out how much I have, and also try to figure out ways to protect the items that I have, and then also organize them in a way that allows me to find them more easily so that I can use more of this stuff. And what I'm doing here is I'm putting these die cuts into these plastic sleeves. This is a DVD sleeve, and I got these from Amazon, and I will leave a link in the description below to any of the products that I've mentioned here, including these sleeves. And what I do is I put I think they're like 5 by 5, so I put a piece of cardstock in there and then put the ephemera or die cuts in there, and that protects it and keeps it all together. So I'm just going through and trying to put these die cuts back where they belong. I had started a couple projects before Christmas, one of which was to make gift tags, which I gave away to friends and family. And I have all of these kind of half-finished tags that I had started but didn't quite get done. So as I was going through this process, I was trying to figure out how was I going to store all of these different things that I have. And I kind of decided that I should do it by the type of craft. So I'm going to be storing a lot of these tags and also some Christmas cards, like half-finished Christmas cards, and things that I would use to create these gift tags and Christmas cards. I think I'm going to be storing that in one of those Iris bins. I was kind of debating as I'm going through this how to store this, and I don't think at this point that I really like the idea of storing all of my scrapbooking items and some of these paper crafts in those 12 by 12 Iris scrapbooking cases. Because those cases are so large, I find that things just get lost, and I don't know what I have. I don't tend to use it because I don't like digging out these bins and having to, take everything out and kind of go through it. So as I am working on organizing and putting these things together, I'm thinking about how I should store my Christmas items. Now, one of the things I will mention is I do not store any of my Christmas paper crafts in my craft room. I actually have a closet. It's a walk-in closet. It's right off the hallway, right close to where my craft room is. And I think it's probably about a 5 by 5 foot room, like a 5 by 5 foot closet. I'm not exactly sure of the size because I've never measured it. But anyway, it's a really nice to have that closet that I can use to store things that I don't actually work with every day. And so I do put things in the closet like this, which are, for Christmas. I would not necessarily use that on a day-to-day basis, and so I find that I would prefer to store that in the closet. But I'm going to try to come up with a different solution for storing these Christmas items that makes it much easier for me to just go in there and pull things out and know exactly what I'm going to be, getting, instead of pulling out these Iris bins and having to sort through them to try to find the items that I need. Okay, so I'm just going through the different bins, and I have some 6 by 6 papers and some 3D embellishment stickers and more die cut packs. And a lot of these items I bought from Tuesday mornings. Some of them came from, um, what do you call those? Like surprise packs or like mystery boxes. I did get a Pink Fresh Studio mystery box. I also got a Hip Kit Club mystery bag. And there was another one I got. And a lot of those, I think Echo Park, I got a warehouse box. And so a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be going through here came from those types of mystery or surprise boxes. Okay, so this particular bin has a whole bunch of unfinished projects in it. These are different Christmas cards that I started, and I really love this Let It Snow. It's a die cuts that I cut with my Cricut, and I put some, I'm trying to think of what you call that. It's like that, shoot, what is it called? Not taffeta, it's not, it's like a mesh. It's got a name, but I can't think of it. If I think of the name of it, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But anyway, I made shaker cards with those ones that said "Let It Snow," and also the ones that had the deers. And I had my friends over. No, what I don't think it was last year, but the year before, and I actually did a little class, and I shared with them how to make those shaker cards, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to keep those, and I'm going to put all those together into one bin. And along with the gift tags that I was going through earlier, I'm going to go through and get all these things that are kind of partially made Christmas cards. And I'm going to put all of that in one of these iris cases. And next time I want to work on the Christmas cards and Christmas gift tags, I can just pull that case out. So I'm going through and I found these snowflakes. I had made those snowflakes as well using my Cricut or my Silhouette. And I'm just going to go ahead and put those into one of those CD, DVD sleeves. And you can see here kind of how much of a mess this is. And this is why I think I don't really like these iris storage cases, because I tend to just throw things in there. And I think if it's Christmas, I'll go through my craft room, and anything that's Christmas related, I'll just go into my closet, I'll pull out one of these bins and I just throw it in there. It's no wonder that it looks like this and it's such a mess. So you may be wondering why I am keeping all these little pieces of paper, and that is from, I believe, a Doodlebug Christmas collection, and I just love that collection so much. And I am thinking about doing some Christmas cards where I'll layer those strips of paper, and so I really did want to keep that. Now, a lot of those strips of paper were longer than 5 inches, and so instead of putting that into one of my 5x5 sleeves, I'm using a larger DVD sleeve. I believe this one is about 5x7. It's very similar to the Avery L sleeves, and I will put a link in the description below for that one as well. So this is I think this is a job ticket holder, and it really got mangled in there because I had a bunch of bulkier items in it. But this is a card kit that came from Spellbinders, and it is a Christmas card kit. And I had the dies in there, as well as a bunch of the different ephemera pieces and washi tape, and they had twine. They had all kinds of different things in there. There was also some jewels and some flowers. There was some adhesive. And so I decided at this point that I was not going to keep things together in here that were not Christmas. And so as I'm going through things at this point, I decided that I would take out anything that was not Christmas, or that I wanted to store, like stamps and dies. I really like to store those together. I have all my stamps together, including Christmas. I have all my dies together, including Christmas. So I wanted to kind of put that with the stamps and the dies and not keep them here, because I probably wouldn't think to look in this bin, which had this card kit. Now I'm going to go through and taking all of these little ephemera pieces out, and you can just see how much of a mess this is. I just kind of just dump things into these boxes. And I think at this point too, I realized that I have a lot of paper and other things that can be used at other times, not just at Christmas. And so I think I am wasting a lot of these items because they're in this Christmas storage. But except for that one piece of paper, all that other paper in there could be used at any time during the year, even the one that was a floral. So I'm decided that I was going to go ahead and take all that out and put it with my other paper and not store it with Christmas. And that would give me a lot more opportunity to use that and to use it up. And anything that's Christmas, I'm going to keep with Christmas, but anything that can be used at any other time of the year that's not specifically Christmas, I'm going to be putting it with the rest of my scrapbooking and paper crafting items. Okay, so I decided I would just go ahead and use this job ticket pocket to store all those paper scraps. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing with all the little scraps, but I just thought I would just put it there just to kind of keep it protected while I was going through and looking through this stuff and organizing. I also found some 6x6 paper, and I believe the items that are here, this is actually a Simon Says stamp card making kit that I got many years ago, and I used this to make Christmas cards. I think it probably was back in 2015, 2016. And I'm going to go ahead and take all these little pieces and put them into one of these CD sleeves and to protect it. I find that a lot of times if you put things into the little CD sleeves, that it helps to extend the life of it, to protect it from getting damaged, and it also keeps it together so that you have all those little pieces in one place. So when I bought those DVD CD sleeves, I actually did buy, I think it was like 1,000, and at the time I think I saw there was like you could buy a pack of just 100, or you could buy a pack of 1,000. And I thought, well, I'll probably use more than 100, and it was such a good deal to get the 1,000 that I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And that way I'll have them to store all kinds of things, because I could see using them for storing dies and like the metal dies, stamp sets, you know, things like this, which is like ephemera. So I could just see using them for all types of storage. So when I bought these sleeves back in 2019, I bought 1,000, and I think they were around $33, which made them about 3 cents a piece. And I think I've only ever seen them on Amazon as 1,000 pieces or 100 pieces. And the 100 pack, I think, was around $7 and change. And I just decided that I wanted more than 100, but and I also knew that if I bought the 1,000, it's like half the price, you know, per sleeve. And so I just went ahead and bought the 1,000. But I use them all the time in my craft room to store all kinds of things. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of this stuff into this iris case, but it's not going to stay here. But at this point, I think what I was just trying to do was trying to figure out what I had, and so I'm going to move on to another case. Now, this one is kind of interesting because it has some bulky items. It's got some snow and some snowflakes that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and I think that case is going to stay just like it was, because it works okay, and I can kind of see everything that's in there because it's very big, bulky items. Okay, so now I'm moving on to this third case. This one also has card making items in it, and I have some really old books that I had bought a long time ago at Hobby Lobby to use to make cards, and here are some Christmas cards that I made a long time ago that I kind of forgot about. I guess they got stuck into this bin. Oh, and there's some chipboard. I don't know what that was doing there at the bottom of that bin. I think probably I just stuck it in there because it was Christmas. But you know what? I might not have even looked in there for chipboard if I was looking for Christmas items. So, you know, that just tells me that this iris bins are just not working. So I also have quite a few of these 12 by 12 paper pads that are Christmas. And I'm just flipping through them, thinking about what I would like to do with these. I know that a lot of these paper pads have paper that's not specifically Christmas, and I think that I'm going to be pulling these paper pads apart, or at least some of them. I'm going to take some of the paper out that is not Christmas. So I usually don't like taking paper pads apart, but in this case, I think I would use the paper here more if it wasn't stored with my Christmas paper. And some of the paper pads, though, are just almost the entire thing is Christmas, and those I will leave as a paper pad. But some of these other ones, they have such pretty wood grains, and other types of paper there that I think I could use any time of the year. So it's kind of fun sometimes to go through your stash and kind of rediscover things that you forgot you even had. This paper pad is really old. It's a project pad, and it has some cardstock, it's got vellum, it's got transparencies, stickers, all kinds of things in it. So I definitely want to remember that I have that so I can use that to do some projects this year. I also have some Project Life cards here. I had a couple of kits. There's some stencils in this project case. And I just have a lot of stuff just, at this point, I think I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed because I didn't really know what to do with some of this. And there was some scraps there. There was some chipboard. There was some old Miss Elizabeth paper from the Dollar Tree. And here's a whole bunch of scraps and just some 12 by 12 loose scrapbooking paper and some cut aparts that I had stored in some plastic baggies. So I'm just gonna, at this point, I'm putting it all back in that bin. I was just, yeah, I was done with that. I'm like, I can't look at this anymore. It's just too overwhelming. So I thought I'm gonna look and see what's in this other iris case, and this is really old scrapbooking stuff. And then I also had a couple of newer items that I had just put in there on the top because I know that Brad pack is fairly recent. But some of this older stuff like the K and Company and these Christmas sticker stacks, those were from, quite a while ago, and they're really old. They're falling apart. And, I tend to buy a lot of these Christmas items after Christmas when they go on sale for 80 or 90% off. And I think you can get some good deals that way. But then what happens is I will get it after Christmas, and then I will stick it with the rest of my Christmas items. And then I kind of forget by the time the next Christmas comes around. I've forgotten that I even purchased it. So these are some epoxy stickers that are really badly warped, and I end up throwing those away. Here's some ribbon that I purchased from a really long time ago, and just some really older items. So I am just kind of going through here and figuring out what I have. Now this is a 4x6 matte stack, and it had a lot of glitter kind of cardstock in there, and I'm going to go later and pull that apart because I think I could use some of that if it wasn't for Christmas, because a lot of it wasn't specific to Christmas. I kind of keep going through here and just looking to kind of see what I have. Now this bin has newer items in it. It has some things that I purchased recently at Tuesday Mornings and Michael's, and also some older items like this Teresa Collins and some different stickers and embellishments from some card making kits. It's just a hodgepodge mess of stuff. There's some Project Life cards, some chipboard, some stickers that my friend Judy gave me, and then some loose scrapbooking paper, and then some 12 by 12 sticker sheets down there at the bottom. So this is the following day. I did take a break from this and try to think about how did I want to store this. And so I decided I would try out some of these different items that I have in my craft room. That's a Totally Tiffany project page, and then I had I'm not really sure where I got that one from. It was kind of similar, but it was much smaller than the Totally Tiffany project page. And I also had some just project cases. It's like the little plastic cases with a snap that you can get at Hobby Lobby. And so I decided that I was going to try to um, go through and organize this stuff and kind of group things together, see if I can figure out a way to make it to where I could figure out where things were. And so I did decide that I was going to try to organize this in a couple of different ways. I was going to try to put things that were in the same collections together from the same manufacturers. And then if I didn't have enough to where I could really store it together as a collection, I was kind of try to group together Christmas items that were of a similar color scheme. So I did have some things that were like from Pink Fresh Studio that had like pinks and blues and not traditional Christmas so I could put those together. And then if I had something that was more traditional, like the bright greens and reds and golds, I would try to, kind of put those together. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of going through and looking at these different items to try to figure out, kind of what I had, and just think about, like, how was I going to store these. Now, I came across this pack of Pebbles, Merry, and Bright, and it was loose in my project case, and I knew I needed to kind of contain that, so I'm going to go ahead and work on putting those into my CDC, DVD CD sleeves, and just kind of thinking about, like, hey, what am I going to do with all this stuff? So I was just getting started, and already I was feeling overwhelmed with all of the stuff that I had, because there wasn't a clear direction for how I could group this together, except maybe for a few things that I had collections of, like Cozy Christmas, that was from my mind's eye. I had quite a bit of the Snow and Cocoa and the crepe paper Merry and Bright. And so I'm thinking about, well, I'm going to go ahead and start with those items and see what I can group together. But first, I just needed to kind of clear off my work area. I think that was one of the reasons why I was feeling so overwhelmed, because sometimes when you just get so many items and your table starts to get full, that's when I feel kind of claustrophobic. And yeah, so, and if you hear my dog barking in the background, that's Lily Bell. She likes to bark at the neighbors and the kids down the street, and so I guess she wanted to kind of put her input into this video. Okay, so I'm kind of getting this all cleared off, and here I'm going to go ahead and start sorting this by the different collections. So as I was going through and sorting this by collection, I started to feel a little bit better about the process. It does help somewhat if you have things that are similar that you can kind of group together. I think I have more trouble with the things that are just like one-offs, where I just have one or two of something and I don't really have anything else to go with it. To me, that's where it gets a little bit, kind of confusing about what you should do with that kind of stuff. And so I think what my plan is going to be is I want to sort this stuff into collections and store it that way. And then by color, so I'm going to do some kind of a color scheme where I have, like, bright pinks and, that kind of colors. Then maybe something with the softer colors, something with the bright Christmas colors, the wintry colors with the blues and the grays and the silvers, and just kind of sort it like that. Anything that I have left over, I think I might try to take some of that and either put it into card kits or page kits so that I can use it up, and so I don't have to worry about organizing it and sorting it and how to figure out, what to do with it. So I think that's going to be the process as I go forward with this, is to try to group it into the different collections by color, and then maybe build some card kits and page kits. The other thing that I've been doing as I've been going through and sorting through these items is to try to find anything that is not Christmas related that maybe I could use in other scrapbook layouts and in other projects. And so, and to pull that out and separate it from the Christmas so that I could eventually, put that into with my regular scrapbooking and crafting items. So I decided to use these Totally Tiffany project pages. I have a scrap rack, and I had gotten a number of these pages, and I think it's called the Expanding Project Planner. And I don't find that they work very well in the scrap rack. You can put very bulky items in there, and I find that once you load them up, it makes the scrap rack really too full, and it's hard to flip through it. I like to use the scrap rack more for just things that are flat, like paper and like 12 by 12 sticker sheets and things that are, very not very bulky. So it just works better. So I have a whole bunch of these project planner pages left over, and I do find that a lot of the Totally Tiffany products that are meant to be used for the scrap rack, you could use them for other areas in your scrap room. And I do have some of these stored in my Calyx unit, and I also just put them on a bookshelf. And so my plan is that I'm going to load up these Totally Tiffany project pages with all of these collections, I will label it with the manufacturer and collection name, and then I will put it in back into my closet, just on a shelf in there, so that it will be very easy and quick for me to be able to go in there and access these collections and to find them very easily without having to take down bins and go through a bin to try to find things. So I think this is going to work much better than using the Iris scrapbooking cases to store this kind of stuff. So I had used some of these ephemera pieces when I was making some Christmas projects, and they were just loose in one of my Irish project cases. And so here I'm just putting them into some CD sleeves so that I can keep them together. So I really do love these CD sleeves for keeping small things together. And if you tuck the flap of the CD sleeve behind that piece of cardstock, it will keep anything from falling out, even if you turn that upside down. So I really like putting it in there even before I put it into this Totally Tiffany project case, and so that it will kind of stay together and I won't lose any of the pieces. So if the packaging has images on it, I like to cut that into a size that can fit into the CD sleeve, and I will insert that into the back of it. And I really like having that there because it's a quick way to be able to tell what die cuts are included in that pack. And as I'm filling up these Totally Tiffany project pages with all of these things, I just think it's fun. To me, it's fun to organize when you have something that you want to put together. I think the hard part is trying to figure out how to organize it. I think once you figure out your process and how make your decisions, then this part is easier. So I finally found this packaging. I had been looking for that, and then when I went to cut it down into the size that would fit in my CD sleeve, I cut it in the wrong place. I have to go back and repair that and put it back together so that I can cut it to where I can get the pictures. Because really, what I care about here is the images on the back. I also like to keep the name of the manufacturer and the name of the collection. So I'm going to try to figure out here what parts of this I need to cut off to make it the right size. And then I'm going to keep that extra piece of packaging, and I'm going to use my ATG just to stick that back on, because I do write in my blog and I have a YouTube channel. Of course, since you're watching this, you know I have a YouTube channel, but sometimes I do have to know what the different manufacturers and collections are. And if I don't have the name, it kind of frustrates me because then I have to go do research and spend time trying to figure out, that information. So I do like to keep the packaging. If that's not something that you do, though, you can definitely get rid of all the packaging. It does make things a lot easier to store because you can just get rid of all of that. But for me, I'm keeping it for now, at least as long as I'm writing in my blog and making YouTube videos, I'll be keeping that. So I really do enjoy the process of organizing, and I guess for me, it's almost like another hobby because I just like the sense of satisfaction I get from putting things into order. It kind of gives me peace and calm. It's like a weird thing. I just love doing it. And anyway, so I guess that's one of the things, but it is work. It is hard work. It does take time. It sometimes I don't feel like doing it, and it makes it even harder. But I just really think that if you have your things organized and you have them where you can find them so that you can use them, then the crafting process and scrapbooking and card making and all the things that I want to do, it's just so much easier. So I'm actually going through this paper pad, and I did decide that a lot of that paper pad I could use for other things, especially the wood grain. And I did buy that paper pad mainly because it was mostly not Christmas. A lot of it was not really for Christmas, I thought. And so I'm going to go ahead and sort this out by color. I'm going to sort it out by wood grain, by color, and I'm going to sort the plaid out separately. And I have different categories where I keep paper in my craft room, and I'm trying to put more things into wood grain and plaid and backgrounds so that I can go straight to that when I want that kind of paper for a project. Okay, so now I'm going to look at this Pink Fresh Studio stuff, and I think that one was actually Fancy Pants or something, and I don't even know where I got that from. And as I was looking through it, I realized that that's probably not even Christmas. I think it is some kind of Christmas countdown, but the colors in there were not really Christmas, and it was only just numbers on labels, and so I could probably use that for any project. So I decided to just put that into one of my CD sleeves, and I'm going to put that with the rest of my ephemera and just keep it there. So I I thought a little bit about as I was going through this stuff, really wanted to make sure that what I was keeping together with this Christmas was Christmas. And so that's why you see me here going through and pulling out things. I'm going to pull this sticker book apart. And it was interesting because that sticker book was like alphabets. And I think I ended up with only 4 or 5 pages from that sticker book that were Christmas. All the rest of it was not Christmas. So that was kind of cool because I really do sometimes, struggle with finding an alphabet that'll work and the color that will work. And this sticker book had so many different alphabets and all these different colors. And yeah, I was just excited to pull those out, and I'm going to put that with the rest of my alphabet stickers. So I did also look through this sticker book, but it was mostly Christmas, so I just left that one alone. And this other sticker book had a few alphas, and it was already falling apart. And so I just went ahead and took that one apart and took out a couple of the sticker sheets from that one as well. And I really am excited about having some additional alphas to use for my scrapbook pages. And so that was a super exciting find. You never know what you're going to find when you look through things that are super old. So I decided to go ahead and pull apart this 4x6 mat stack because it did have quite a few glitter cardstocks that I thought I could use for anything. So I'm going to put it with my paper that I use for die cutting. And now I'm just looking at some of these cut aparts. I would suggest that if you have something that's difficult to store, that you do go ahead and cut it apart or take it apart. And in this case, I find these cut apart sheets a lot of times will get stuck on other things or they'll start coming apart on their own. And so a lot of times I will take those apart, and I'm just going to go ahead and store them in one of those CD DVD sleeves. Now there were some border strips that weren't going to fit, but I'll worry about that later. So I cut out quite a bit of this process that I'm going through here, where I'm just sorting by color, just because the video was getting really long, and I didn't think there was that much benefit to showing that part, because it's just me looking at these different items and kind of just saying, well, this kind of looks like it goes with this, and just making piles by color. There was a few items that I couldn't figure out where to put it, and but for the most part, I could kind of, find things that went together that had similar color schemes. So, for instance, that stack in the middle, that was kind of like a light green, a light pink, and red and black. And then I had a stack for things that were traditional Christmas colors like bright red, bright green. Then I had another one for blues, things that had purple. There wasn't very many things that I had that were traditional blue and winter type things, because I don't really scrapbook with that a lot because I live in Louisiana. So once I had this sorted by color, I went ahead and put it into the Totally Tiffany project planning pages, and also used some of the other Totally Tiffany, what was it called, collection keepers. And if I had something that was not as large, I stored it that way. So the main difference between the Totally Tiffany Expanding Project Planner and the Collection Keeper is that the Expanding Project Planner, you could keep large bulky items, but the Collection Keeper, you couldn't fit as much in that one. So this is it. I'm done with my organization, and I just wanted to give you a quick look at my organizational uh, bag there that I have, that I keep my organization supplies. I have my label maker, my different CD, DVD sleeves, some little baggies, labels, scissors, pencil, Sharpie. And here is all the organization that I did with those Totally Tiffany pages, and then also my Iris scrapbooking cases. And here is, I filled up a whole trash bin of trash, which is always a good thing. All of that was somewhere in those Iris bins, and now it's in that trash can. Okay, so I'm just finishing up this organization project. Now, I did lose some video footage because my camera ran out of space and I didn't notice it. But this video is going to be very long anyway, so and a lot of it was repetitive. So I think that probably what was lost is, it's not really that significant. So I just wanted to do a quick overview at the end to kind of show you where I ended up. I did end up with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it looks like 7 or 8 of these Totally Tiffany expanding project planner pages. I'll leave links in the description below to all of these different organization products that I used. But I went ahead and I created some labels using my label maker. And I get my tape at Amazon. I use a generic tape and it's very inexpensive, and I'll leave a link in the description below for that if you're interested. And I also have a video where I shared how you can save tape by turning off the auto cut feature, and I have a video for that, and I'll leave a link in the description below for that video if you're interested in using a label maker. How do you save tape? Okay, so I went ahead and put labels on. So I have it by, the first couple ones are by collection. So I have a Snow and Cocoa collection one, and this is kind of what it looks like. And then we have this one is Pebbles, Cozy and Bright. And here's the back of that one. Next we have Crepe Paper and Merry and Bright. Then I have the My Mind's Eye. This is Cozy Christmas, and I think it also contains another collection. Sorry, I just bumped the camera. Which was Comfort and Joy. These two collections have very similar color schemes, so I decided to put them in the same project planner. Then I have one for Pink Fresh Studio. So it was interesting to me, this Pink Fresh Studio, none of this is from the same collection, and actually this one is Fancy Pants. But the colors kind of go well together. And I didn't really have anything else that had these colors. It's very untraditional Christmas colors with the Pink Fresh Studio. And I do have paper that's Pink Fresh Studio, that's Christmas. And so I'm going to need to find that so I can put it here, or at least know that I have, when I find the paper, I'll know exactly where to go to get these embellishments. On the other side, because I had more room here, I went ahead and I labeled this one Christmas Miscellaneous Words and Dimensional. This is kind of all the leftover things that I had. I had some very dimensional things that I didn't want to put in with anything else because some of these project planners were getting quite bulky. And so I just put in, this is traditional Christmas colors, and it's just all kinds of dimensional stickers and word stickers and things like that. Okay, so this one I called my Christmas Winter Blue/Purple. This was anything that was paper or embellishments that had purple and blues in it, because I find that these types of things do not mix well with traditional Christmas colors like the red and the green. And then on this side I have more of the mostly blue. This one's mostly blue, red, and green. This one I called Christmas Traditional Brights. And it's more of the traditional Christmas colors, the reds and the greens. And on the back side here, I have my Christmas Project Life. This was 2 Christmas Project Life kits that I had. It had a bunch of embellishments and then some 3x4 and 4x6 cards. And these were so cool because they have silver accents. And it's really interesting to me. There's not a lot of companies that put out embellishments or things with silver. Most of the times you see it's gold or copper or rose gold or, something else. So it was kind of fun to have something that had silver in it. So that's why I had picked that up. I think I got that at Tuesday morning. Yeah. Okay, this one is called Christmas Winter Blues and Neutrals. Now, it was funny, I didn't have a lot of that. And I think it didn't really surprise me after I started thinking about it because I live in Louisiana and we don't have snow here. Well, sometimes we do. It might snow once every 10 years or so, and if it does, it's like such a light snow that it doesn't really cover the ground. It'll come down and melt, and then you just get slush. So we really don't have, I wouldn't really have scrapbooking pictures that have a lot of winter scenes or snow, and so I tend not to buy those kinds of products. But I do have a few things, and I have some paper, so I'm going to go back and look for that paper and put it here. On the opposite side here, I have a category I called Christmas Pastels, and this one was just, these were embellishments that had pinks and greens and reds, but they were lighter colors. And so I just decided I would put those in that category. Okay, and then this one I called Christmas Traditional Pastels. These are just lighter colors. It's greens and reds, but it's a light version of a green and a red. And then on the back here is, this one's a little bit darker than the collection that's back here. But I thought that, that would, it's pretty much pastels as well. It's lighter colors, greens and reds. Okay, next I have this one, which I called Christmas Traditional Black, Red, and Green. And it's kind of interesting because I find that if you have a collection with black, that's Christmas, most of the things that are in that collection kind of go together. And so I just tried to pull together everything that had black, red, and green. And then there's a little bit of blue in here as well. And on the back, I have more three-dimensional stickers. Okay, this one is Christmas Pink, Green, and Blue. And so this is non-traditional colors. When I have like pink and light blue and this kind of different colors of green. So I thought I would put that together. And then on the back is, this kind of reminds me of Doodlebug. And then I also have some Bella Boulevard in here. But really non-traditional Christmas colors. This one is just some paper. It's the Recollections Christmas Cabin, and this was a paper pad that I pulled out a lot of the wood grains and plaids and the paper that was not specifically Christmas. And then this last one is some more Christmas paper. I didn't actually put a label on this. This was just kind of a leftover loose paper that I had, and it's just extra paper. Right now it's not really categorized, and so I just have it in this. This is actually a memory keeper from Hobby Lobby. Sometimes they have the ones with the snaps, and sometimes you'll see the one with the string, but it's the Paper Studio. This is the memory keeper. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm just going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to show you the bins that I ended up with. And I'm really excited about getting this Christmas stuff organized. And if I find anything else in my craft room that's Christmas, it'll be much easier for me to figure out, where it goes, because I can just, if it's one of these collections, I'll put it in with the collection. If it's, not, I'll put it in with some of the color schemes that I have. And I think at some point I'm going to probably pull from some of this and make some page kits. I'm going to be going to a crop in March. I think it's March the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th. And so I am going to be working on some page kits. Hopefully soon, so that I can get ready for that crop. Okay, so what I ended up with as far as these iris boxes, I couldn't figure out what to do with the Studio Calico ephemera pack. The colors in here were just kind of strange, and it didn't really seem like it fit with anything, and it's kind of bulky, and I decided I didn't want to take it out of the packaging. And then this chipboard is a really big item too. So I just decided to put it in with these bulky items. I can easily see, just even looking through the case, exactly what's in here. And nothing is really getting lost because they're just big bulky items in this case. Okay. The next one I have here is my Christmas card making. And so what I put in this one is unfinished cards. I have some photo holder cards I want to use maybe this coming year. And then I just have tags and some ephemera. I decided to put this ephemera in with this card making because I was using quite a bit of this ephemera when I was doing my tags. I also have some die cut tags here that are kind of like chipboard, and some three-dimensional snowflakes, some Christmas cards that are kind of halfway finished. And then I decided to put all of these puffy stickers in here because I think that's the reason why I bought these in the first place, was to make Christmas cards. I think these are going to make cute Christmas cards, and so I decided I would just go ahead and put all of these stickers in this bin. And then when I want to start making Christmas cards, I'm going to try to use this up first, and then, you know, I can pull in some more things from my craft room if I need to. Okay, then the next bin that I have, this is paper and sticker books, and I had this 6x6 paper. So I don't know, I think I have some more 6x6 paper I need to find, but I have a few 6x6 paper pads here. I also have a 8x8 paper pad, and I'm looking at this paper pad, which is actually a Winter Wishes paper pad from Spellbinders, and I'm thinking that it's possible I might want to go and take some of this out. But I think right now I need to work on some other projects, so I'm just going to leave it like it is for now, and then maybe, you know, in a little while when I have some more time, I'll try to go through my paper pads. I do have a reference guide that I use to kind of organize all my paper pads, and I haven't done my Christmas yet, so that's kind of a project that's on my to-do list. But let me share with you real quick my paper reference guides that I have. I have two paper reference guides. I have one by themes and one by rainbow. This is just all different colors. I have like everyday, pastels, brights, darks. And so I just have my paper, all the paper pads that I have. And this is 12 by 12, 6 by 6, 6 by 8, 8 by 8, 8.5 by 11. I have it all in these two books. And I still need to go through and add my Christmas. But one of the things that's really cool about this, I have like seasons. And so I'll probably go ahead and put Christmas here with the seasons. I have like summer and travel, boy, girl, dog, cat, florals. So just everything is organized where I can, if I want to look for some paper, I can just flip through these two books to try to find the paper. So I will probably be doing this with my Christmas 6x6, all my different paper pads, and I'll be putting it in these books. And then I'll probably number or label these bins with a specific number, and I will put that on the back of these sheets. So you'll see here when I turn this over, if I wanted to look for this paper pad, which is called, this is a 6x6 paper pad. It's a Watercolor Wishes by Lon Fawn. I can just flip it over and I know exactly where it's stored in my craft room. This is a hanging shelf, and it's paper pad number 48, and I can go right to it and pull it off my shelf. So I will be doing that for the Christmas paper pads as well. Oh, and if you're interested in how I created this, I have a video for the process of how I actually did this. And if you want more information, I'll leave a link in the description below to that video as well, and you can go and check that out. And this has way more room in it, so I think I'm going to be going through and trying to find some other things to put in here. I could possibly also put in this washi tape. I don't know, that might not fit. It's kind of awkward with these paper pads. I think if it was all 6x6 paper pads, it might fit better in here. But maybe I can just rearrange this a little bit. Oh, I guess that would work. And then I can put the rest of my 6x6 here. So I think that would work. I like to try to fill these up as much as I can so that I'm not having to, you know, things are not sliding around too much in there, because if you don't have these full and then things are sliding around, then things can get damaged. And I like to store my these cases like this on my shelf, because then that way I don't have to lift a whole bunch of them just to get to the one on the bottom. I can just pull it off my shelf like this. And so I have them stored in my closet vertically. Okay, this next one is just 12 by 12 paper pads, and what I'm going to be doing here is just labeling this bin, giving each paper pad a number, and then I'll be able to find these when I need to by looking at my reference guide. And then this last one is just some 8.5 by 11 paper pads, or yeah, 8.5 by 11. So these were a couple of paper pads that I got at Hobby Lobby. I think they were like 90% off, and it was like an after Christmas thing, and I really love the patterns on these, so I decided to get these paper pads, but I haven't used any of them yet. So I really need to try to figure out, you know, how to make sure that I remember what I have here for Christmas, and I think putting that in my reference guide is going to be a good way to do that. Now, since I have room in this bin, I'm going to go ahead and put this 8 by 8 paper pad in there as well. And that's the last bin that I have. So I ended up with 5 bins in that stack of project planner and memory keeper pages. Okay, so one more thing I want to share with you before, hopefully this video is not going to be too long. This is the stuff that didn't go in my Christmas. And I just kind of wanted to share this with y'all because sometimes you do have things that don't end up fitting into your storage. Or maybe, you know, they really don't belong there. So I have a wooden stamp, and I have wooden stamps somewhere else in my craft room. So I'm going to put that with those wooden stamps. I have same thing with twine. I keep that other places. I have some adhesive. So all of this stuff just needs to be put away. I have these jewels. I have my bling in a particular place. I'm just going to add that to my bling. This ephemera is not really Christmas specific. It's just a bunch of tags and labels with numbers on it. Then I have these little brads, and I think some of these may be Christmas because I see a few snowflakes. So I'm probably going to go through here and maybe pull the snowflakes out and add them to one of the bins. And then the rest of it will go in my color drawers. And I'm going to just add those with that. I have some cards and envelopes, and that'll go with the rest of my cards and envelopes. The dies will go with my dies. I have more twine here. This washi tape will go in my washi tape storage. And I have some places where I keep flowers and sequins, so I'll add that to that storage. So I think it's really important sometimes to recognize that if you have something that is not theme specific, but you're keeping it with a theme, then you're kind of limiting the use of that item. And so I think it's good sometimes to, you know, just take those things out and put them with the other places in your craft room. So this was some magnets that somebody gave me for Christmas, and I'm not sure how that ended up in there. So I'm just going to put that with some of my office stuff. And then I had this paper. This was Christmas wrap that they sent me from MD Anderson Cancer Center, and I guess I got it twice. And so I'm going to be putting this with my Christmas wrapping where I wrap presents in my house. And then this was some leftover stickers, which has a dog and a couple of kitty cats. Or is that, I'm not really sure. That looks like it might be a possum. But this will go with my dogs and cats items. And then I have these Project Life cards that were not really specific to Christmas. This is kind of interesting because it was a December daily type of project pack. But if you look through most of these cards, they don't really reference Christmas. So I'm going to go ahead and put this with my Project Life stuff. I had this Teresa Collins. This was some folders, and I also had some stickers that were word stickers, and these had a few little references to Christmas, but I think it could easily be covered up. And so I thought I would put this with my regular items so that I could use that for a project, because I think these are really cute, and they don't really look Christmassy, other than a couple of them have, like this one has Christmas what is this? Christmas is you. And then this one has a couple ornaments, but they have a reverse side, so the other side of it is not Christmas. Next, I have a couple of Carta Bello and Echo Park items, and I do have quite a bit of Carta Bello and Echo Park items other places in my craft room. So I was going to take these 3 items and see if I can find anything else that goes with it. And I know I do have some collection kits, and so these might actually go with other things that are in my craft room. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can locate those items, and because I want to make sure I keep things in a collection together. I had some engagement ring place cards, and these are really old. I don't even remember where I got these or why I have them, and I don't even know where to put them at this point. I don't really need them, so I'll have to think about that. Sometimes you just have stuff you don't know where to put it. So I might have to let this one go if I can't figure out another use for it, because I don't have any upcoming weddings or engagements or anything, so not really sure what to do with that. Okay. I had some word stickers here that were, some of them were kind of a little bit Christmas, but then other ones were very generic. And so I thought I would just stick that with my other word stickers. I have a bunch of glitter paper that I'm just going to put with my specialty paper that I have that I use for die cutting. Then I ended up with all these alpha stickers. So I ended up with a huge pile of alpha stickers. The stencils I'll put with my stencils. And then I had some paper. So I have this 8.5 by 11 specialty paper and some pattern paper. And I have a place in my craft room where I store 8.5 by 11 papers. And so I'll be adding these to that storage. I have some cardstock left over. And I got this in a mystery box, and I think it's really cute. And what I might do with it is punch out all the little numbers and put it in some kind of other storage, because this is really bulky. And this is from Cozy and Bright. So I actually have the Pebbles Cozy and Bright collection. I probably should just add this to that that project keeper that I have, because that was one of the collections that I made for Christmas. So I think I'll do that. This would be really pretty to do like a December, like an advent calendar. I think that's what it is. It's an advent calendar. So I'm going to put that with my Cozy and Bright. Okay, and I have this cardstock that I'll just add to my cardstock scraps. Okay, the last thing I have here is some stickers. And I debated actually adding these to, you know, the different collections or the color categories that I had, but in the end I decided that instead of doing that, I'm just going to put them in 12 by 12 page protectors and add them to my scrap rack, because that way I could put 2 in a page protector like this, you know, one in the front, one in the back, and I have a section for Christmas in my scrap rack. And if I want stickers, I can just flip through like this and look through it. And I think that would be a better way to keep these 12 by 12 stickers than putting them into one of those big, bulky project planner, expanding project planner cases. I also had, I think the last thing I have here is paper that I thought was not specific to Christmas. I had some cardstock and also the paper that I took out of that Recollections paper pad. And I'm going to be adding this paper into my paper storage. And then I had a paper pad that was not Christmas, that was actually in my one of the Christmas bins. And so that's going to go in my storage cubes where I keep my paper pads. And then this was the chipboard that I found, which was super exciting because I love this Merry Days chipboard. And you know, I was looking at it and I thought, well, I could put this with Christmas, but then look at all the little things like these little cups and the little houses and some other things on here I could maybe use other times of the year, like even this tag and the word joy. So I'm going to put this with the other chipboard that I have and store it there. Now, because I do have the Merry Days crepe paper collection, what I might do so that I can remember that I have this chipboard is put a little post-it note in with the project planner that I have the chipboard, so that I know that when I'm using that, I have this as well. Then I had this ribbon, and I have a place where I put ribbon storage, but you know, I think what I'm going to do with this, I don't really love it, and I think what I will use it for is wrapping Christmas presents. And so I'm going to put this with my Christmas gift wrap, And that's where it's going to live there, and I can use it to wrap gifts. So that's what I'm going to do with that. And then of course the dies are going to go with my dies. I think I covered it all. So this is all the stuff that I still have to put away in my craft room, but everything there has a home. I just have to go and put it with those other items that it belongs with. So anyway, this video is super long. I hope that y'all got some useful information from this video, and it helped you to try to figure out how to conquer your Christmas crafting items. And if you like this video, please give it a like. And if you would like to see more videos, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye now. Hey Lily, what you doing? Gonna come see me? What you doing? What you doing? Gonna go get in there? Okay. Bella, you gonna be in the picture too? Get in there, sweetie. You need to back up. I can't see you. You gonna follow me? Hey, little Belle. Maybe. Maybe that needs a haircut. You can get a hairdo? Yeah. You definitely need a haircut. What you doing, darling? Look at them ears. You gonna put your ears up? Yeah.